Translating phrases, a little bit of a shift here. We're going to start working a lot on word problems. And you've heard of the expression, this is what separates the men from the boys, or where the rubber meets the road. Well, that's what we got going on here. We are going to separate the men from the boys, the women from the girls, etc., as we hit these word problems. But today is like a transition day. We're kind of going to segue into it nicely and slowly. So, let's go through this. Which of the following choices is in the solution set of negative 2n plus 5 is less than 15? Which one?
C.
C? Okay, let's double check. Negative 2 times negative 4 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. Yes, that's less than 15. Remember, when we solved the question, if I subtracted 5, I would get negative 2n is less than 10. And I divide by negative 2, I'm going to get n is greater than negative 5. And which one of those choices is greater than negative 5? Choice C. Okay? Remember, when I divide by a negative, I have to switch the direction of the inequality. Space below, graph each of the following. Negative 2, 5, open circle. Do I fill this circle in?
Yes.
Yes, you do. What about this one? Yes. And just like the X is bounded between these two marks, I'm going to bind them right in there. Yes.
Would it be a dot there so you can't go past 2?
Well, you just put a circle on 2 and then you fill it in. Okay. Now the next one, 2 and 7, we kind of wrote them backwards there. On the 2, do I fill the circle in or no?
Yes.
Yes. On the 7, do I fill the circle in or no?
No.
Now this one, as long as the letter's on the left, which it is in both cases, the arrow goes in the direction of the inequality. So this guy's going to go this way, and this guy's going to go this way. Do you guys, how many of you watch music videos? All right. Years ago, there was a band, I believe they were called the Bangles, but I'm not sure. And they sang this song called Walk Like an Egyptian. Did you ever hear that song?
No.
Okay.
Every day.
All right. Well, when they would sing the refrain of it, and I almost never watch MTV. I think it's absolutely evil, but I truly believe it's evil.
But they have like advertisements for like ending smoking.
Let me ask you a question. If you come over my house and I say, listen, I want to make you some brownies. And I get out, there's really good stuff they sell at Costco for making brownies.
Yeah.
It's really good. And you watch me make the brownies, and I just take that ingredient and I mix it all up. I put it in the pan, I put it in the oven, we chit-chat for a little while, it comes out. We got all the brownies ready, I get some vanilla ice cream, and I'm making you hungry, aren't I? And I put the brownie out there with the vanilla ice cream. You're going to say, oh my, that's delicious. Look at that. All the ingredients are good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say the same exact scenario. And I go outside and I just pick up, listen, just one little poop of dog poop. Just one. And I mix it in with the brownies.
Ew.
Are you going to eat it?
Yes.
Are you going to say it's bad for me?
No. Well, wait, how is it bad for you? The dog
Dog poop. Now, obviously, that changes everything. That's a game changer when you put dog poop in there, right? So, is it possible that MTV gives a few messages that are positive and good? I'm not going to argue the point. I'll give you the point, okay? Have you noticed how many bad things are on MTV?
No.
Then you, son, need to learn about bad.
That's what I noticed, and they like say don't do this, and then the shows that they put on like display that.
Terrible stuff. Horrible
Then at
stuff.
the end of the show, they say this is
Molly, you lost the bet on this.
Right.
I've never
So,
seen
and here's my point. My point is that if you're a normal, sane person, if you're a perfectly with it kind of person, and you watch these shows on MTV, you say to yourself, these people are whack, they're idiots, I don't want to be anything like that. But there are some people who are not like that. There are some people who look at these people and they go like, oh, they're so cool. Years ago, they used to have a show on there called Beavis and Butthead.
I remember that show.
Okay.
We still have it.
And one of them, I think it was Beavis, but it might have been Butthead. I don't remember which one. I really didn't watch the show very often. Where they go like, he would do this all the time. And there were kids, I mean, hundreds of kids walking around the school going, and they would like look at them like, these guys really got life. And I'm like, no. It's like watching the drama that you kids get caught up in. All of these TV shows are about drama. It's like if you don't have drama in your own life, you're going to invent it. Oh my God, did you hear what so-and-so said about who and who? Who cares? Doesn't make a difference, but MTV thrives on that kind of stuff. You know, Big Brother house with the reality, garbage. It's terrible for you. So I don't watch any of that.
What is MTV?
Music television, which is not even music television anymore. When it first came out, all they had was videos of shows, and now it's all shows with no videos, from what I hear.
Yeah, sometimes they really.
What is it about?
MTV.
You don't know what MTV is?
They used to just like
I've never seen MTV.
let's say that you were a musician and you made an album and a song on the album you wanted to be on the radio. Not only would the song be on the radio, but the song would have a video that corresponded to it on MTV. And people would play MTV all day long and they would watch the video of the song. So if you liked a particular song, you might like the particular video, and that's what people do.
It's a movie. It's like
It's a channel on.
Yeah, it's a channel on your TV.
Oh.
So now,
Flip through your guy.
anyway, one of the famous videos from back in the day was this video called "Walk Like an Egyptian," and the girl would get dressed up like Cleopatra, and she would go like, "Walk like an Egyptian," and she'd walk around like this. And to me, that's whenever I see the word "or," look at the graph, I always think of "walk like an Egyptian," because they always go off to the side. So I realize this is not quite my son rapping,
No.
but whenever you see this, it's "walk like an Egyptian." Whenever you see the word "or," they go out. Whenever you see the X bounded, it connects the dots in between. So if you see the word "or," walk like an Egyptian, it goes out. If you see the X bounded between two symbols, it's always drawn like this. Simplify each. Remember, you've got to cube everything in there. It's going to be 64 n to the 12th. This one, you have to do the fourth to everything. If I do that, I get 16x to the 12th. Then I have to multiply by the 4x, which makes 64x to the 13 over 8x to the 5th. And when I divide that out, I get 8x to the 8th. Subtracting the exponents. You got that right, you're in good shape, yes?
I got 3x.
What?
Go. How did you get 64?
Because the cube also applies to the 4. So 4 cubed, it means 4 times 4 times 4. And that's 64.
Wait, what? I got too much of that.
That's, you
4
did it
times
in
4
extra
is 16
time.
times
If you
4
do
is-
another 4, you get 256.
Okay.
4 to the third means this. 4 times 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. Do an additional 4, you get 256.
But I just typed in.
Wait, then I did 4 to the 4.
Yeah, it says to the third. This 4 here only refers to the end. It has nothing to do with the 4 in the front. Okay?
Oh, so the 3 is for the 4.
Exactly. The 3 is for everything in the package because it's outside the package.
Oh.
Okay? All right. Last one. Negative exponent, reciprocal, 5 halves squared, which is 25 fourths. Okay? All right.
It's bright.
Now, today's lesson. The new stuff, if you will. What we're going to do is we're just going to look for some words or some algebraic phrases that mean certain things. If you hear these words, it means a particular operation. So I'm going to throw some words out there, and you're going to tell me which box to put them in. The box for add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Product.
Multiply.
So I find my multiply box, and I put product down. Sum.
Add.
Difference.
Subtract.
Let's see here. Increase.
Add.
Decrease.
Subtract.
Quotient.
Divide.
Of.
Multiply.
Of is used for percents and fractions. Okay. More than.
Add.
Less than.
Subtract.
Now, the thing about more than and less than, it's very important to remember, is that you always switch order. And we'll do a bunch of them over the next couple of days. But I like to say to myself, last shall be first, first shall be last. Okay? Some increase, more than, difference, less than. Another word for add is the word exceeds. Okay? Another word with subtract is the word diminish. Do not say that you'll never use it, because that's like the kiss of death. It's like guaranteeing you will use it. Diminish, yes. To diminish means to make smaller. For example, it can easily be argued that the influence of the Democrats on our country diminished with the results of the election last week, or on Tuesday, which is a wonderful thing for the country. Okay, now, oh yes, very good. I'll bet you in the Rexton household, Dad was like skipping on that replaced knee of his.
I guess.
Yeah, you got to get with it here, right? Why? Okay. All right, so now let's take some examples and let's start putting them together and putting it to uses. So we're going to write an algebraic expression for the following. And sometimes we don't emphasize what this word expression means. There is a huge, phenomenal difference between an expression and an equation. What is the difference between an expression and an equation?
Equation
Has a so does an expression. Equal sign, that's the biggie. So something like n plus 2 is an expression. Something like n plus 2 equals 5, that's an equation. So if it has an equal sign, it's an equation. If it has an inequality symbol, it's called an inequality. An expression has neither. It's just variables and numbers. So, an expression for 3 more than a number n. Now this is what we were talking about before. More than and less than are particularly important. I focus in on that, and that's a really big deal to me, okay? More than obviously is going to be addition, but with more than, the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. So it's actually n plus 3, not 3 plus n. That's actually a quote from the Bible. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. And there's a Bruce Springsteen song called The Ghost of Tom Joad. And one of the lines from the song goes, waiting for the day when the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So every time I see more than and less than, I think of last shall be first shall be last. That switches the order, gets it covered. Now, less than, does that mean addition?
No.
No, it means what? Subtraction. But again, we're going to switch first and last. So the 5 goes at the end and the n goes in the beginning. So it's n minus 5. Now, if you think about this for a minute, now stay with me on this. 5 less than a number n. If I say that you have $5 less than Sarah, okay? If we say that's the case, what do I need to know before I can figure out how much money you have? Don't you need to know how much Sarah has first? Okay? So if I tell you Sarah has $15, how much do you have? 10. So before I can do yours, I have to know hers. So if you have 5 less than Sarah, the first thing I have to worry about is Sarah. Then I can figure out you. Same thing here. If you're 5 less than a number, first I have to know the number. Then I have to go take the 5 away. Does that make sense to everybody? Now that switching, that first shall be last shall be first, that only occurs with the words more than and less than. With all other expressions, word order matches math order. Okay? So, let's try the next one. 7 less than 4 times a number n. How would I write that? 7 less than 4 times a number n. Get it? 4n minus 7. Very good. Again, focusing on that phrase less than, last shall be first shall be last. The 4n goes to the front, the 7 goes to the end. What about 8 increased by a number n? That's right. It's fully correct. You would get full credit for it. Either one of these is right. But with the word increased, we can do the 8 first. Now, what does the commutative property of addition say? That's right. So 8 plus n plus 8, aren't they the same thing? Is there a commutative property of subtraction?
No.
No. So if I tried that with this less than thing, would 7 minus 4n be the same thing as 4n minus 7? No, they would not. And that's why with more than and less than, it's extremely important you switch them. But with all the others, you don't have to. Now, if you get an addition question, like Wilfredo just answered, if you write 8 plus n, you do get credit for it. Personally, I would answer exactly what you said, n plus 8. But I can only do that because of the commutative property. Can you ever do that with subtraction? No. There is no commutative property of subtraction. Can you do it with division? No. Can you do it with multiplication? Yes, because there is a commutative property of multiplication, so you can switch order. What about 10 decreased by twice a number n?
10 minus 2n.
That's right. Notice we cannot switch that. The 10 is the subject, and that is the thing being decreased. A little grammar here. Subject, verb. 10 is being decreased. So here's my 10, it's being decreased. Okay? The product of 7 and the number decreased by 2. Product, what operation's product again? Multiply. So product of 7 and the number n decreased by 2. What would I get for that? Andre?
7n minus 2.
Nice. Next, for less than, danger, 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 there's that phrase, for less than the quotient of a number and 5. Lily?
5 minus 4, n.
No, what's the quotient of?
Oh. Divided by.
Yeah, what's being divided? Let's come at it another way. Here's the subtraction for less than. First shall be last, so where does the 4 go? Good. Now we got to figure out, how do I write the quotient of a number and 5? Now quotient is division, so there's my division sign. Well, the middle of it. What's on top, what's on bottom?
5.
Is that top or bottom?
Top.
No. The quotient of a number and 5. Number on top, 5 on bottom. So when it says quotient, it's whatever order they give you. The first thing they give you goes on top, the second thing they give you goes on bottom. The only time you switch order is more than less than. Any other time you don't switch order. Next, twice, this is a little tricky. Twice the sum of a number and 1. Give a chance for everybody to think about it here. Twice the sum of a number and 1. I don't think I've called on Liv all year long. And in honor of her birthday tomorrow, I think we'll call on her. What do you get? Well, what does twice mean? Okay, 2 times what? Okay, so how would I write the sum of a number and 1? Help her out. How do I write the sum of a number and 1? N plus 1. So there's my sum of a number and 1. Now, twice you just said means 2 times that, right? But it's 2 times the whole thing, and the danger part is you got to put the 2 in front, and you got to put it in parentheses. 2 times n plus 1. Okay? Similar idea on number 9. 4 times the difference of a number and 8. 4 times the difference of a number and 8. What?
In parentheses, n minus 8, in parentheses, then times 4.
Yeah, 4 and 5. So 4 times n minus 5. Okay. What is it when you're always going to switch the order? The only time you will always switch the order. Everybody?
More than less than.
More than less than. Okay, very good. Now you can just start your homework, do whatever it is you're going to do. You have 1 minute. You guys should go on YouTube and watch the video for the Ghost of Tom Joad with Tom Morello playing the guitar.
How did I do this? We did this last week?
Guitar. Some people call it guitar. Springsteen tells a story in concert. He goes, when I was growing up in my house, there were 2 things that were unpopular. One was me, and the other was my guitar. One was me,
Wait, on what?
when he was growing up in his house.
Gee, killing jokes over
In
there.
your house. He's saying, look, when I was growing up and I was a kid, there were 2 things that were unpopular. One was me. Means the parents didn't love him.
Oh, okay.
And the other was my guitar. And it was always never Fender guitar or Gibson guitar. It was always guitar. Turn down that. You all right today? You get that? Does anybody understand?
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
If you said that you were unpopular in your house, what does that mean?
You're not popular.
Nobody loves you. So he would say, growing up, there were 2 things that were unpopular in his house. One was me. The other was my guitar. Can't you just see that? Like, how would you like if a kid lived in your house with an electric guitar? Wouldn't you be like, oh my God, shut that thing off?
I would like it.
Right, well, that's what he thinks. He thinks it's so cool. But his parents are like, I hate you and I hate your guitar. So they'd say, it was a Fender guitar was what he played. They never say, turn down that Fender guitar or turn down that Gibson guitar. They'd say, turn down that guitar. Ah, now we got a little light bulb going on? He has a song called Growing Up. You gotta hear the song. I stood stone like at midnight, suspended in my masquerade. I combed my hair to look just right and commanded the night brigade. All right, have a good day, guys. Hasta la vista, vaya con Dios, toodaloo, ta-ta, arrivederci, smile a lot. Ciao, arrivederci, adios amigos y amigas. Happy birthday, huh? Toodaloo, ta-ta, sayonara, garushus.